Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to 1MinuteTennis.com. In today's session, I want to talk about the return of serve, and I want to talk about the difference between the great returners and the good returners. And when we can understand what that difference is, I want to show you how you can apply this difference to your game and become a great returner of serve. In some ways, the great returners present a paradox, because although players like Djokovic today and in the past Agassi and Jimmy Connors, although they hit the ball hard, they're not the hardest hitters in the world. I mean, nobody hits the forehand harder than Rublev, but his return of serve is good. It's not great, but Djokovic's return of serve is great. Going back in time, Del Potro, nobody hit the ball harder than Del Potro, but his return of serve was good, not like Agassi's at that time, where his return of serve was great. So the players who return serve are not the hardest hitters in the world. They hit good, but they're not the hardest in the world. So let's look at the difference of how these players who hit the ball harder than anybody else manage to get that speed, and then see why that doesn't equate and move into the return of serve. And you have to look at the kinetic chain. The kinetic chain that Rublev, that Del Potro, that all of the hardest hitters in the world applied is almost flawless, as they have this beautiful movement of body and then arm and then racket, arm and body. Different forehand techniques, but fantastic kinetic chains. But on the return of serve, we don't need to generate that kind of speed. We need to redirect and harness the speed of our opponent's serve. And to do this, the kinetic chain has to be controlled and stunted. Players like Djokovic, players like Agassi, players like Jimmy Connors going back in time, they controlled the kinetic chain far more efficiently than players like Rublev and Del Potro. Let me show you what I mean by this. As Djokovic makes his return of serve, then he turns and then pretty much locks the body, arm and racket, and then swings through and then releases around contact. So it's not body, arm, racket, arm, body. It's body, arm and racket together, and then the racket overtakes the stroke. Here, locked, and then free. Here, locked, and then free. Now, this is difficult to apply and acquire unless you do it by feel. And a terrific way of getting the feel for this is to take a tennis ball, place it underneath your right arm, trapping the ball, and now make the stroke. And now when I swing, naturally, my arm, my racket, and my body are locked as one. And then I make the stroke. The same on the backhand side with the two-hander. Here, the whole body, arm, and racket will move together, and then I make the stroke. The same on the one-hander. Everything is controlled, and then I make the stroke. By placing the ball underneath the right arm, you will lock the body into place. You will stunt and really inhibit the kinetic chain, and you'll get control. You'll get precision and control in your strokes. You don't need to generate the extra power. The extra power is already there from the opponent's serve. The problem is not hitting the return hard. The problem is hitting the return in consistently with accuracy. So use this concept, hit several strokes with the ball in place, and then remove the ball and reproduce that controlled feeling here of the body, the arm, and the racket moving together. Not body first, arm second, and racket third. Body, arm, and racket moving together. And you'll find that you can first of all become more consistent on the return of serve, and then you'll find that you can become more aggressive by directing the ball into the most difficult possible places for your opponent. Djokovic is a master at sending the ball exactly back where it's come from, but very deep. So the server hits the ball and then immediately has to start moving back. You can use it this way, or to send it into the corners or acutely cross court. But however you choose to use this, you'll find that by locking the body and making the stroke as one, you have more control and more consistency on your return of serve. This is the difference between the great returns and the good returns. Use this technique, develop a great return of serve, and put fear in the hearts of the players who are serving to you. I hope this makes sense and you like this idea. It's really simple and very, very effective. It'll make a great deal of difference to your return. If you like this idea and want more help with your game, have a look at what we do with online coaching. There's more information in the website, or email us for details. It's a unique service and we're helping players of all ages, levels, and all over the world. So, lock the body into place. Use this little trick to get the feel, and then once you have the feel, keep the feel, Keep the great return of serve and you'll play better tennis today. Thanks for watching and see you next time for more unique tennis lessons that really work.